Okay, guys, so we're going to check out Adobe XD and we're going to do a quick tutorial just to run you through all of its features. Now, just so you know that a lot of the times when I do make apps, I'm also doing things in Adobe Photoshop. Now, in this particular tutorial, we're not going to do too much Photoshop stuff. It's going to be a quick tutorial that's going to show you the basics of Adobe XD prototyping app so that you can get started straight away. Okay. One of the things I do want to show you is this website. It's called Icons 8, and I'll just zoom in to that website right there. So there it is there, icons8.com. So that's icons8.com. Okay, this website is really good because it allows you to search for any type of icon you want. And if you've ever seen apps, you'll find there are heaps of different icons that apps use. So, for example, you might be looking for a home button, or you might be looking for a search button. So you can go search and you'll find all these different types of icons. And the good thing about this site is most of them are free. So for example, maybe I do want a button that will take me back home. I can click on any one of these. Which one looks the best? Let's go with this one. And you'll find some of them are free to download. So I'll click on the download button and I'll try and get the biggest size possible. So over here where it says PNG sizes, try and get the biggest size possible, not too large, and you'll also find some of them are not free. So you want to make sure you're getting one where it is a free version. And so I'll get this version and then I'll hit the download link. And that downloads straight to my computer, which is fantastic. And we can open that up and there it is. Okay, so there's that picture which we can use later on, which is great. Okay, so I'll just leave that picture on the side there. We're in Adobe XD, and in Adobe XD, what you want to do is obviously you want to start a new document, a new file, but the file size is we're making iPhone apps. So you want to make sure you pick iPhone. Okay, you can also do prototypes using Adobe XD for websites and other things, but we're using it specifically to prototype for an iPhone app or a mobile phone app. So let's click on that. Now, once that's open, Adobe XD looks like this, and it's actually quite a simple program. So let's have a look at it. On the left side are all your tools, just like in Photoshop. Now, you don't have as many tools as you do in Photoshop, but these tools, we will go through them one at a time. In the middle are going to be all your app screens, and on the right side over here are all your properties. So for example, I can click on this page of my app and you'll see that the properties panel is open, and I can go and I can do things like changing the color of my app screen and things like that. Okay, so on the left is where I have tools to bring things in. So I can use, for example, this rectangle to bring in a rectangle, or this circle to bring in a circle. I can bring in text as well, so I can go and write something if I want. And once I've done that, I can then select any of these things and then go to the properties panel to change it. Okay, so the left side creates things onto our page and the right side adjusts those things. So if I wanted to change the color of this circle, I can. If I wanted the circle to have a particular color on the border, I can do that as well, and I can increase the size of that border. So there's a lot of things I can do here on the right side. So I would definitely recommend playing around with all of these properties to see what you can do with shapes, text as well. So for example, maybe we wanted to change the text color. Maybe we wanted to change the text font type. So we can change the font type as well. and also the size. Let's make it a bit bigger. Okay. So left side are your tools to create things. The middle is obviously where all your app screens are, and the right side allows you to configure those things by clicking on the things that you want to configure and then adjusting the properties. If I wanted to adjust the properties for the entire page, I would go up here where it says the name of the page, and I would click on that, and then I can adjust the page here. So I could go into fill and maybe make it a different color and things like that. I can also change the length of a page. A lot of the times our pages need to scroll, and in that case then I probably would scroll down like this and make the page longer. And what that would do is initially the person viewing this app on their phone would see this part of it, but if they scroll down they would be able to see things down here. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back and get rid of all these things, go back to normal. One of the things you want to do is design your first page before moving on to your others, because that way you can copy and paste everything you've created. However, if you did want to create more pages, you can click up here and highlight your page and hit Command C or Control C if you've got a PC. And what you want to do is copy it and paste it. So Command C copies and Command V paste. Or if you're on a PC, it's Control C, Control V. And you can paste as many pages as you want. Okay, so now if I zoom out, you'll see all my pages. Okay, let's have a look how to actually link pages. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put a square on the main page. I might change the color over here to red. I'm going to get a circle and let's put it over here. And I'm going to change that color as well. Let's make it green. And let's get a triangle for the third page. And let's also change that color to something different. How about blue? Now, once you've got your pages set up, what you're going to want to do is connect buttons that are going to link your pages together. Now, at the moment, we are in design mode. As you can see at the very, very top, we're in design mode. And right next to it is prototyping mode. Prototyping mode allows you to connect your pages. So by switching to prototyping mode, what you'll actually see is you can click on a particular object and you'll see this little blue arrow. It wants to go somewhere. What you can do is tell it to go somewhere. Okay, so for example, I'll get this red box and I'll click on it and say when people click on the red box, it's going to take them to this page. When people click on the green circle, I want them to go to this page. When people click on the blue triangle, I want them to go all the way back to the home page. Okay, so we just made these random shapes and hopefully that does what we want. Now, if I wanted to change anything, I would go back into design mode and I would then go and change something or add more things like more circles or something like that. But to do the links, we do them in prototyping mode. Now, once you've done your links, you probably want to test them. And over here, we have a play button. Right on the top right corner, we have a play button. And using that play button, what it does, it actually generates a preview of your app. And we can actually test to see if these buttons work. So I can click and you'll actually see I've gone to the next page. And when I click again, it takes me to the next page. I'll click again and there you go. All my buttons seem to be working just the way I programmed them in the prototyping mode. So now I'm back to my actual app. Let's get out of design mode. Let's delete everything here. Let's even delete these extra pages that I made. Now I'll just zoom out so I can see the other pages. And the next thing that you want to do is obviously create your first page. And the first thing you want to do is make sure that you know how many pages you're going to have and how many buttons you're going to have. So you may want to change the background color and things like that. I'm just going to leave it at white for now. And what we're going to do, I'm going to create a navigation bar, and it's going to be at the bottom. So I'm going to just drag a rectangle, and we might fill this color in. Let's make it black. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this circle, and I'm just going to draw a circle like so. And let's make sure it's centered. So by dragging it, I can see the width from left to right, and that's perfectly aligned in the middle. So that's good. What I might do is actually, I might get rid of the border. So it looks like it's kind of cut into that. Okay, now I want to actually get 4 buttons in here that are going to take me to 4 different pages. So I'm going to use that Icons 8 page to download some buttons. So I'm actually going to go back to the website, and let's download a couple more. So contact, and let's get one of these, maybe this one, and I'll download that. So you can see in this one that I want to download, there's only 4 sizes that are free. I'm going to pick the largest size, which is 80 by 80, and then hit download on that one. I need to get 2 more icons. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just randomly pick like a play button. Let's go with maybe that one. That looks pretty cool. Let's hit download on that. And there is a couple there for free. So I'll get the 96 by 96 version. That's a bigger size. And I need one more button. Maybe we'll do a settings icon. Some apps have a settings button. And let's go with that one. That looks kind of similar to the other one we had just before. Let's go with a bigger size. Okay, so I've got all 4 buttons now. Let's go into the app and bring those buttons in. So there's a few ways you can bring in a picture. Okay, you can bring in pictures by just dragging and dropping them. So for example, I'll just grab all these icons and I'll just put them on my desktop for now. And what I can easily do is I can actually just drag any of these pictures in. Okay, and this is how you bring in images onto your XD project, just by dragging and dropping them in. And what we could do is resize them and then bring them on top of the navigation bar like that to put them in as buttons. Okay, so that is one way of doing it. I'm going to show you a different way as well. So let's drag this one in here. Now, the other way of doing it is by using a shape. So for example, I could use these rectangles, and I could create rectangles or squares. Let's do squares. And once my square is in there, I can actually drop my image into the square. So for example, if I drop this image into the shape, it will only fill that shape. So I'll give you another example. If I create a triangle and I drop this image into the triangle, it will only put the image where the triangle shape is. So you can do some really clever stuff by combining shapes to deliver a unique look and then put your picture into that shape. In this scenario, I don't want to do shapes. I'm just going to drop my images straight in. So let's grab the last 2 and put them in. And I'll just resize this one and bring that in. And the last one, that's good enough size. Let's bring that in about there. Okay, now that I've got my icons in there, it's probably time that I link my pages. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the name of my page. I'm going to hit Command C or Control C to copy it, and I'm going to paste it 4 times. So now I've got 4 screens that are identical. Okay, I'm going to just put something on each page so we know it's a different page. So I'm just going to grab some text and I'm just going to say home page. So let's write that in there. And I'll copy this onto all of these pages. And this one's going to be contact page. Oop. And this one is going to be play videos. And this one's going to be my settings page. Okay, let's go into prototype mode so that we can link up all the buttons. So over here on the top left, I'm going to switch to prototype mode. I'm going to go to the first button, which is the home button, and I'm going to drag it to this page because this is the home page. Okay, so that button actually goes nowhere when someone clicks on it on this page. The very next button, that's going to my contacts page, so I'm going to drag it to contacts. The play button is going to the play videos page, and the settings button is going to the settings page. And I need to do that for all of my pages. So I'm going to click on home on this one, drag it to the home page. This is the contacts page, so it's just going to the same page. This is the play videos button. This is the settings button. And let's do that for the next couple of pages. So basically connecting up all of my buttons to make sure that they all go to the page they need to go to. And that's the same one. Now, what you want to do is obviously test and make sure that works. So how do we test? We go up to the top right and we click on the play button, which then opens up this little box where we can actually test to see if it's working. So let's do that. Home button goes home. We are already on the home page. Let's see if contacts works. Yep, we go to the contact page, play button, and the settings button. Excellent. So all our buttons are working. We use some really cool apps from the app Icons 8 website, and we brought them in. Now, obviously, what I would do is I would use Photoshop and Photoshop some images like some logos and things like that that are going to go onto your pages and do your design that way. Now, this is the first tutorial that I wanted you guys to have a look at. There is one last thing that I'm going to show you that is for the basics. And I'll just zoom into one of the pages, and it's about, and you guys would have known this, I'll just go back to design view in Photoshop. In Photoshop, we talk about stacking items and layering items. So what happens if we wanted the home button to be on top of one of these other pictures? How do you do that? Well, in Photoshop, you do it by your layers. In Adobe XD, there are also layers, and you can change your layers two ways. You can right click on one of your images and just tell it to bring it forward. Okay, so you can bring it to the front or you can bring it forward. If you bring it to the front, it'll go all the way to the front. Okay, and now it's at the front of all of your images, so it will be on top of everything. If you bring it forward, it only goes forward once. So it might still be behind some things, but it'll be in front of the one that was in front of it before. So if you want this to be in front of everything, then you'll right click it and say bring to front, and then it will become in front of everything on the page. Okay, so there is another way of doing that. Over here on the bottom left, you'll see some icons, and one of those icons is your layers button. So you can click on layers, and you'll actually see on this particular page, these are all the things I have on the page. I've got a rectangle, which is this black one down here. I've got a circle, which is that white circle. And I've got all these pictures that I brought in from the app icons page plus the text. And so just like in Photoshop, if you wanted the home button to be on top of the play button, well, you can just go to the home button and just drag it up above, and now it's on top. If you want the play button to be on top, well, you can just drag it above. Okay. All right. Well, that concludes the first basics of Adobe XD tutorial. Hopefully you now have enough knowledge to get started, download some cool images online, bring them in and start designing what your page is going to look like. Use the text tool and the shapes to also do some funky things on your page, and then click on each of these modules and use the right properties bar to change what they look like. Okay, so you can change your text colors, your text sizes, and all sorts of things. So have a play around with that. In the next tutorial, we're going to do some more advanced things using navigation bars and also some dynamic sliders and things like that to really extend your skills in Adobe XD.